Go.
Hello, world. Once again, this podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. You can go to audibletrial.com/TTD. That is our clever acronym for The Talking Dead. And when you do that, you can go and sign up for a free 30-day trial. And with that free 30-day trial, you get a free audiobook download. Free shit, people. Free shit for you. All you got to do is go to www.audibletrial.com/TTD and sign up. It's free. Does not cost you a thing. And when you do it, we get a little something out of it. This is how our sponsorship works. You do something for free, we get a little something. And with that little something, we'll go on to do bigger and better things, make the show better, and hopefully please the millions of our adoring fans. So once again, www.audibletrial.com, where they have over 100,000 books, magazines, periodicals, journals for you to download onto your iPod, iPad, iDevice, MP3 player. It'll all work. www.audibletrial.com/TTD. Take it away, Jason.
Welcome. It is July 21st, 2012, and this is The Talking Dead. And with me, across on the couch, is Bob. And
How's
Paul.
it going?
And Paul.
Hey.
And Paul wants to be close to the camera today.
Yeah. Paul has an achy back, so he's leaning forward.
Is that kind of like an achy, breaky heart?
Uh-huh.
Sorry, that...
It was from all the skanking I did at the
Yeah.
at the show last night. It's like a postmodern ska kind of thing.
Awesome.
Did you see the that's not a Scott thing, but did you see there was a news article in, I think it was in Berlin, Germany. They had the hipster Olympics.
No, but I did see someone the other day sent me a thing for like a hipster quiz.
Oh yeah, how hipster are you?
Really unhip. I was happy
really?
to say. Yeah.
Whatever. You lied about the tight pants. And
Yeah.
So.
But I was slightly disturbed because I was looking at a pair of like original Ray-Ban 50 style glasses, and I was like, "Holy shit! No, that's a slippery slope."
That was one of the events at the hipster Olympics was the horn rim glasses throw.
Yeah, that's awesome. Judged by Elvis Costello himself.
Slippery slope.
Yeah.
So how is everything?
What's
What's new with you, Bob?
Not a whole lot. Everything's pretty much the same.
What about you, Paul?
I never have anything to say.
I'm going to quit asking you.
My album came out this week.
And what album
You've
is that?
probably never heard of it.
That's why he's wearing the hat.
Yeah, exactly. The Scar Limit album.
Yes.
On DSBP Records. Go to dsbp.cx.
What is .cx?
I don't know, but I bet it's cheaper than .com. That's
It's
my
probably like China.
Yeah, I don't know. It might be like Czechoslovakia or some sort of Cincinnati porn group. I have no idea what CX means.
All you care is that you have an album out.
Now I want to know what the .cx exchange is.
You gotta look it up.
It's out.
So this is Scar Limit is okay because we've talked about your music a lot.
North Korea.
Yeah, we've talked about your music a lot, and usually we talk about the ambient side of it.
Right.
Scar Limit is different. So
It is the exact inverse of the other project. Yeah.
country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is EBM, industrial dance, whatever you want to call it.
What is EBM?
Electric.
It's like industrial, but with a.
What does EBM stand for?
Electronic body music.
I think I've asked you this before.
We've had this conversation. It was a term coined by Front 242 in the 80s.
I understand the.
Yeah, there's a little more than, but it's definitely in there. Yeah, so it's finally done.
How much are you selling it for?
I'm not sure what it is on the website. I'm getting my shipment of stuff coming in. We're gonna put some stuff up on Bandcamp for all the digital stuff. I believe it is $12 at the website.
Yeah. That's pretty good for you.
Yeah, 15 songs, 78 minutes worth of music.
Yeah. Are you gonna?
You get plenty.
Is your contract with them?
Lousy dollars.
That's it. For 15.
Is that American?
Amazing songs. Yes.
Does your contract allow you to put it up on Google Play and Amazon and all
Yes.
that, or are you going to do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you about all the stuff. It's actually a very generous,
Well, it's
honest.
You saying you
good-
want to do it afterwards, or you want to talk about
Yeah,
it now?
no, I don't want to talk about it now
Okay.
because I don't know what the label wants people to know. But
What's the website?
DSBP. So www. No one says that anymore.
I know
So
nobody
old-fashioned.
says that. I
Every
yell at
I
Bob.
just
time
did.
I do it, every time I do it, he's like, "You don't have to say it. You might as well say HTTP." I'm like, all right, yeah. So it's dsbp.cx.
It's true. You
Yeah.
don't have to say it, Bob. I've told you this 100 times.
It drives him nuts. You know what else drives him crazy? Sign your name at the end of an email.
Why do you think I do it?
Yeah. He's like, why do you always sign your name at the end of the email? I know. I see from the conversation who it is. and so you're the
We
only
have not
person
had this
We
conversation.
have had this conversation. So now I never sign my name at the end of his email.
You know, I signed the first one.
Yeah.
And then as the responses grow, then you don't.
Yeah.
So
That's
Paul
it.
does
There's a
it
thread.
every single.
Yeah. I do.
Do are you like, sincerely, Paul?
No. Just usually a dash and Paul.
Cordially yours.
Yeah.
But he's never.
Your pen pal.
He's never.
Greatest ineptitude. Paul.
He's never called me on that because I have the auto sig on there, so I don't have to type anything. It just automatically puts it at the bottom.
Yeah. It's always like psychosomatic CEO and founder.
Yeah.
It clearly does not say that.
I saw.
No, but it would be awesome if it did say CEO because you'd be like every dude in the drum machine department handing out his card at Guitar Center, like, yeah, I got a record label, CEO. You know, it's always like, dude, this is out of your mom's basement.
I totally ripped this off from another friend of mine, but he changed the little auto signature on his iPhone. So that, because usually it'll say like, because yours does it all the time, like sent from my Android Asus, Prime, right? I'm always like, I don't care what equipment you send on, but I noticed mine will say, I know, but you can change it, and mine was saying like sent from my iPhone, but you can change it, and so now I totally ripped it off from somebody else. It says sent from Planet Earth.
Nice.
I keep it on there because I love the responses people get because people have been adding stuff like sent from my brain.
Yeah, I always add that. Like every once in a while, I'll get bored. And sent from the toilet. And like this, as I cut one
I've
off.
gotten that one from.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't want to read it anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Sent as I sit in the free clinic waiting for penicillin.
It's true.
Good times.
Good times. Well, so anybody seen any movies since the last show?
I did.
I have, yeah.
Let's start with Paul. What movie did you see?
Are we talking theater movies?
It doesn't
Or are we
matter. Whatever movie you want to
I actually watched a really cool one that I liked called Absentia.
Absentia?
Yeah, there you go. You say it better. Absentia. So it's about this woman. Her husband disappeared, and it's been 7 years, so she has him declared dead. And I guess it's called death through absentia. And at first it seems like, she sees him in the corner, all black eyes, black mouth, menacing face. And you're like, oh, this is the standard ghost story. And then it takes a fucking left turn, and it involves, like, bridges, giant silverfish, trolls. It's freaking weird. I highly recommend it. You can stream it on Netflix.
How does
it
switch to all that? I mean, why?
You got to watch it. Find
Damn
out.
it.
Basically, he's been in almost like another world,
Oh, really?
and there's like a tunnel that's kind of a portal thing. But Yeah, it was really low budget and slow. I mean, not like so low budget you can't watch it, but really, really good. Like one of those movies in the next morning, you're thinking about it in the shower, and you're like, that was freaking creepy, you know. So that was good. Watched another one called The Devil's Rock that was interesting about demons and Nazis and zombies.
Really?
Yeah, not bad. And I bought a whole, like, those giant sets, like horror classics, and you get like 50 of them for $20. I have probably like 5 of these things, but I bought a new one called Sci-Fi Invasions, and there's a lot of really bizarre Italian science fiction from the 60s, and all the chicks are hot, and they all have like the like makeup that's like the cat eye makeup and big hair, and it's pretty fun.
Awesome.
And I watched some movie called Slipstream with Mark Hamill.
I've seen that.
Yeah. So it's like that kind of stuff.
That was when he was in his like post-Star Wars lull.
Yeah. Well, now I looked him up, and on IMDb, all he does is voiceovers.
Yeah.
Cartoon voices.
He's he's a very famous voiceover actor.
Yeah,
He's
no
the
idea.
he voices the Joker in the Tim Verse Batman stuff.
Interesting.
I also started watching some the Munsters reruns, which is funny because we'll be talking about that. And the postman on there is the voice of Piglet. Which
that guy.
Yeah, I was like, oh, just weird. No. That's my recap of the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, Monsters reruns. Couple movies.
Decent movies. Definitely have to check them out. What about you, Bob?
I saw the Spider-Man movie.
What do you think of that?
I'm not going to come across as such a cynic. I liked it. I didn't love it. I wanted to love it. I wanted to be so in love with it. But and I think the director was. I think it was Matt. No, it's not Matt Reeves. It's the same guy that directed 500 Days of Summer. And he does an adequate job. But the like the movie was a reboot too soon because they spend like an hour, sort of like reinventing Spider-Man's origin.
Yeah.
But they don't really reinvent it that much. I mean, it's still all the critical elements are there,
Right.
And so it was familiar territory that I'd seen before, and I just kept kind of like looking at the watch and going like, man, when is he going to put on the red pajamas and get to kicking ass, right? And so that I thought that sort of hurt it a little bit. But then once he does get in the Spider-Man suit and he's like swinging around town, I mean, that was great. Like all the physicality of Spider-Man was spot on. I mean, it was great. And Andrew Garfield was a very good Peter Parker. Mm-hmm. He did the best with what he was given. And I think he was
bode well.
Yeah, well, I think he was a better Peter Parker than say Tobey Maguire. And it's just because I think that Andrew Garfield is one of those actors that he has like
not talking about MTV's Best Kiss, Tobey Maguire.
You're right. Yeah. Yeah. But Garfield's like, I don't know. He's just one of those actors. He always seems to me to be like really, really sad.
Right.
And I think that works for Peter.
Buster Keaton.
Yeah. Maybe he was very good. He was good, but it just I just felt it really took too long to get going.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like the Avengers.
Oh my gosh.
But we'll wait. We'll talk about the Avengers later.
I enjoyed the Avengers.
I liked the shit out of the Avengers.
I didn't think I was gonna like it at all. Although I will say I kind of want to break from superhero movies. I'm kind of burned out on superheroes. I wasn't a real big superhero fan to begin with.
I don't know, man. I kind of dig it. I mean, it's a good time to be a comic book nerd.
Yeah, it's definitely that. If you're really into it, oh my God, it's
the golden
it's heaven
age
for you right now. You got
Yeah.
the Holy Grail going on. But I want to take a break real quick and let people know who are watching in the other chat room and the people watching on Google Plus. We are broadcasting live, so therefore we have a chat room. If you go to zombiepopcorn.com, you can actually join us in the text chat room. If you want to join us and be a part of the conversation in the video chat room, we're also broadcasting a live G Plus hangout. So just throw up your video and throw in your comments, and we'll talk to you.
I can see the comments now, like, Bob is full of shit.
Well, we say that. We don't need outside.
Yeah.
I know. No, you guys don't need the validation. That's
Yes,
what
we
I'm
do.
trying to avoid.
Yeah. So
I think you're full of shit, Bob, and I'm going to cite this comment
Exhibit
in the
A.
chat room on Saturday.
on Saturday, yeah. So you saw Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was good. It was worth seeing. A little bit of a letdown, only because my expectations are so high, and
Oh, Bob, I haven't broken you far down.
Yeah.
enough.
and I was a little bit let down with Spider-Man, but ultimately it was pretty good. But I'm very critical, and my expectations are very high. So other people may enjoy it more than me.
Yeah. Any other movies?
Yes. I went to the Midnight Batman last night.
What'd you think?
It was very good, but it suffers too, and it's interesting the reason why I think it suffers, and of course Batman's been in the news all over the fucking planet. We went to one of those sort of marathon movie deals.
Oh, did you go to that at the
Yeah.
beach movie or the? Another?
No, well, this was at the one downtown in Norfolk at Rio.
Oh, okay.
And they showed Batman Begins, and then there was like a 20-minute break, and then they showed Dark Knight, and then at midnight was Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah.
And Batman Begins was just as good as I remember it.
I watched it last night. Actually, it was on TV.
Yeah, it's a really solid movie. And then I watched, then we watched Dark Knight, and I had forgotten just how fucking good The Dark Knight was. That
really
is such a great goddamn movie.
As much as I just a minute ago said I'm over super,
Yeah.
that is probably the best.
Well, I
movie
think what
of
makes
all of
Dark Knight so good is it's not just a superhero movie, right? It is a really, really tight crime drama.
Yeah.
With really great villains. Heath Ledger was so fucking good in that movie. And it's not just the buzz that he died after, before the movie came out.
was fucking
He
great.
was just, he brought his A game to that. And the Joker, that memorable Joker that he did, he was so good. And I had forgotten just how great he was in that role and just how awesome that movie was altogether. And so, sadly, when I watched The Dark Knight Rises, it falls short of its predecessor, Dark Knight.
I mean, it's really hard to top that movie.
A lot of people say that the villain in the Batman or The Dark Knight Rises is Bane. And some people think that Tom Hardy was really, really good in the role, but I felt that he was a subpar villain, and he just didn't seem to make a lot of sense. I had a lot of problems with the movie. And I think what happens is that Dark Knight Rises becomes just a superhero movie. A really well-done superhero movie, an excellent superhero movie. But its predecessor, The Dark Knight, was more than that. It was a really, really great crime drama with a great, interesting story. And it seemed to live in that Gotham world so well, And it seemed to be like on par with the Batman that they had created, right? Because they sort of grounded Batman, right? In Christopher Nolan's world, there isn't like Tony Stark technology. He's got the tumbler, and that's like the stretch, right? The fact the car that can jump, right? And that's sort of the extent of this, super ultra mega corporation technology that they have going on, and of course, there's no magic, right? Scarecrow is not a magic villain. He's just a neurochemist and a neuroscientist, psychologist, right? So Batman was very, very grounded in fighting a lone madman and the organized crime really, really fit for the Dark Knight. And then what happens in The Dark Knight Rises is all of a sudden they get that Stark super technology, and then it becomes less about organized crime and more about blowing up cities and atom bombs, and it just seems it loses its footing a little bit. And like I said, it of the three, I think maybe it might be the weakest. It's still very good. It's still a well-done superhero movie, but at the end of the day, just a superhero movie.
It's kind of like Terminator 3.
No, that was awful.
I mean
That was awful.
Terminator 3 was fair. Oh, no, wait. I'm thinking the other one, the John Connor. What was the one that came after it?
It was Terminator was John Connor, and then T2 was the metal guy, the liquid metal guy.
Yeah.
And then
there
T3 was
the
Christina
woman.
Loken.
But there was a fourth, wasn't
The
there?
Revelation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And that was the one with Christian Bale.
Yeah. No, I like the fourth one better. The third one is pretty bad.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the one.
Right, my
the third
analogy
was
sucked, but-
the third was Christina Loken was the chick Terminator,
Yeah.
the Terminatrix,
It
and
just wasn't very
Ed
good.
Furlong was, or no, it was
No, he was number
Ed Furlong was in 2.
That was the
what was
best
that
one.
guy's? Yeah, that was the best
That
one.
is a fantastic movie.
But I don't know, man. And so of course the Batman movie is all over the news because of the shootings in Colorado, which is horrible. But I wanted to bring it up because I've been seeing a lot of inane conspiracy theory stuff that's being thrown around about how because one of the elements of the story is that of the Colorado story was that the gunman, and I forget his name, the gunman walked into the theater about 20 minutes into it, and at a moment when they're having this gunplay on screen, he throws these canisters of what they think might have been tear gas, and then starts shooting when his shooting coincided with the bullets on the screen. And that's being held up in a way like sort of an anomaly hunting type of thing. Like, it was the midnight premiere of the movie. How could he have known that moment? He had to know ahead of time.
Right.
He had inside knowledge. He had access.
But the original
And I'm
story
like-
that first came out didn't mention any of that.
Well,
it
that's
said,
what-
it said that it happened before the movie started.
No, it's 20 minutes in.
I mean, but the first reporting said it happened before the movie
Well,
started.
this is, and you know, this is one of those stories that we're going to learn more as we go. Right? There's so much more yet to know. However, this sort of anomalous thing, like, wow, it was like 20 minutes in, there was this big gunfight. And how did he know that was going to happen?
Because there's always one 20 minutes in.
Yeah, well, right, but that wasn't that 12 o'clock show in Aurora, Colorado was not the first time in the history of mankind that movie had been shown. I mean, we gave away tickets on the website for a 7:30 show that night.
Yeah.
So this idea that this
The night
lone
before,
gunman had
Oh, yeah.
special knowledge that no one else could have gotten about this movie is total bullshit. It's just one of a string of.
There was an interesting thing I heard on the news or read online, which means it has to be true.
It has to be true.
Rotten Tomatoes had taken down the ability to comment on The Dark Knight Rises before all this happened because there were some critics that didn't care for it, and some of the fans were like getting really belligerent and making threats to the like
mainstream
newspaper,
critics?
to the film critics, like threatening them because they didn't like this movie.
Wait, people saying rude things and threatening things?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
online?
know, but
No
still.
shortage of trolls on the internet.
I know. It's just
I
how can
know.
a movie affect you that much?
See, but
It's just-
I'm sure somebody's going to like. See, they knew that was a setup. They knew that this was. That's a lot
Yeah.
of crap. It's awful what that guy did, and I hope that in the weeks to come we'll learn more about who he was and why he was mentally disturbed. Because you would have to be mentally disturbed to do that.
And not to trivialize the horrific things that
No,
happened.
not at all.
But moving on, still talking.
Yeah,
about
I don't want to
the-
bring us down,
Yeah.
but I had to say it
Yeah.
because I've been seeing so much talk about it. It's been making my head hurt.
Yeah. One good thing about The Dark Knight Rises is that it beat the Avengers midnight screening. They broke the records for that.
I haven't verified that. I looked for it on Box Office
I
Mojo.
have sources right there. Read it. It's on the notes. If you look at the notes, I have it, and I have my sources where they came from, and it says that Estimated midnight gross is $30.6 million at 3,700 locations, besting the $18 million reported for Marvel's event.
Yeah,
Marvel
but that's
Avengers.
just for the midnight
wait.
show.
But then it says The Dark Knight set several new box office records during the opening weekend. The latest Batman movie had the biggest opening day, the biggest opening weekend, and drove overall Hollywood box office.
It didn't have the biggest opening weekend. It's still Saturday.
Well, it's still saying it.
They can't say it had the biggest opening weekend when it's still Saturday.
You know what I don't like
What,
is when they open on Wednesday and they try and claim that.
Yeah.
But the fact is that it's still Saturday and it beat the Avengers.
No, it hasn't yet.
Yes, it has.
It hasn't. The weekend gross for Avengers,
I
I looked it up.
The midnight movie beat it, but maybe not.
That's what I'm saying
Right.
is the midnight movie. That's what I just said.
The midnight movie beat it only just in ticket sales.
He can't accept
I
it.
can see his hair's actually moving from his temple, throbbing.
Yeah. I looked it up on there's a website, Box Office Mojo, and they do the best job of keeping track of that stuff. And I looked it up, and so far, Box Office Mojo still has Dark Knight at an estimated $30 million so far, and that's $30 million based just on the midnight screening.
Don't worry.
Right?
When the Avengers beat out Avatar, Jason didn't get out of bed for a week.
Oh yeah.
I had to come and bring him vegetable soup.
Feed me, Paul.
Yeah.
I can't handle
And
it.
Dr. Pepper. He was distraught.
The Avengers.
In a fever.
The
What is
Avengers
JC
opening
gonna do?
weekend.
Sorry.
It's all right now. Avengers opening weekend was $207 million.
That's opening weekend. We're talking about midnight screening.
I know. Fine. In one
but
show,
say-
it did better.
But
Yeah, it does. What are you saying, Paul?
doesn't it say on here opening weekend, even though it can't possibly since
No,
the weekend
it says
is not
here
there?
that 18 million reported by Marvel's Avengers, the current opening weekend.
So we're
record
just
holder.
talking about the midnight show.
Just the midnight shows.
Okay.
Yeah, because here when it talks about the opening weekend, it's saying that the Avengers currently holds the record of the
Okay.
weekend.
Well,
You
I
count
guess
the-
we'll have to wait and see.
Yes.
Yes. And right now,
I'm just bringing up
30
that-
million's a long way from 207. It might do it. It could. Everybody's saying if any movie can, it would be The Dark Knight Rises. But you know what?
You want to know a secret?
Here's what. They're out $10 because I saw the Dark Knight Rises, and I am not going to go back. I saw the Avengers twice in the first weekend.
But you want to know a secret? I don't really care.
I know you don't. You just like agitating me.
Especially when it comes to the Avengers, just because of our, it's a long discussion. And
You know, both of them have a long way to go to beat the $750 million that's Titanic and Avatar.
yeah, that's right. 3D rules.
They
And
both have a long way to go.
Oh, wait,
Titanic wasn't successful until they reconverted
Yeah, I
it.
know, right?
Wait, I have to talk about a movie that I also went to go see was, which I'm wearing now, my pink Katy Perry 3D glasses. It was awesome.
What happened to you?
What do you mean? What happened to me? How many times have we talked about Hannah Montana?
I don't know.
But anyway,
Just move past it, man.
just roll past it. But I do want to talk about a series that I've been watching, and I'm so glad Disney has finally put the episodes online. It's Tron Uprising. I've been wanting to see this, and now you can watch full episodes on Disney XD's website of Tron Uprising, and it's pretty damn good.
I found out I have Disney XD.
Oh, do you really? So
Yeah.
you can actually, because you could have watched it last night as it broadcast.
I still haven't seen any of it. Well, I saw part of it
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago, whatever they were playing.
Yeah. Well, I sat down and caught up. I'm caught up on the series now.
How many episodes are there?
4 or 5.
No, are they like 10-minute webisodes or
No,
are they
they're
30-minute episodes?
They're 30-minute episodes. I mean, they're for their cable channel, Disney XD.
Is it on the Disney website?
It's on the Disney XD website. Yeah, you can just type in Tron Uprising. It's like the third link, and you can watch the full episodes. Next episode, Olivia Wilde's going to be in it.
Sweet.
I know. So I'm excited about that. It's really good. I was expecting to go into it, watch, since it's on Disney XD, to be a really hardcore kid oriented type. Yeah, yeah.
Ha ha.
But they take full advantage of the phrase uprising. It's all about revolution. It's all about integrity of the revolution. It's about how to recruit for the revolution. It's really fucking good. It's fun. I mean, there are those.
So it's hit a nerve with you, huh?
Yeah. He actually goes there with his tablet and writes down notes.
It's not
taking notes.
It's not
Tron propaganda secrets.
It's not that in depth, and it does have those kid moments where they had the cheesy one-liners here and there. But it's really well done. The art is really well done. It's good, and I'm apparently boring Bob with this.
No.
So if you haven't seen it yet, Tron Uprising is pretty awesome. I'm excited about it.
Moonrise Kingdom. That's the other movie I saw.
Oh, I saw that too.
Freaking awesome!
That was great, delightful.
I have the the music that was in some of it. There's like that whole weird boys choir thing when the storm's coming.
Right,
and
right.
All that. I have that album.
Oh.
I happened to pick it up at a thrift store like years ago just because I wanted to sample it. It's like this British schools concert they put on. It's very strange.
That's cool. That was a really good movie.
Yeah, I think probably his best one.
Yeah, I agree.
Most accessible anyway, but
yeah, and no, it was really good. And I think
it's what I always find. I mean, I know why they do it, but in the commercials, you'll see they'll say like Bruce Willis is great, and which he was good.
Yeah,
and Bill Murray is amazing. Bill Murray's barely in the movie.
I know, right?
He says 2 lines. No one talks about how great those kids were, man. They were awesome.
No, the whole movie was those kids, and they're all over it, and they don't even get mentioned because, and I think that
well, you got to get people in.
Right. They're shilling, the recognizable names to get asses in seats. Which, I understand that. That's what happens, man. That's the marketing machine. But definitely go see that movie. That was very good.
Yeah. I want to go back to the Avengers because the Ultimate box set, Phase 1 box set.
Are we done? Are we moving on to catch-ups and announcements? Are we done with that section?
Yeah, we've been done with that section.
Oh.
Why?
All right. Because somebody had a birthday.
Oh.
Happy birthday, fucker.
Well, you didn't bring this up. What is this?
I didn't have a chance to.
What is it? Oh, look at that. Ooh. The Walking Dead t-shirt. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah.
Woo!
I went to go get one, but they didn't have a man size, so I just got yours.
Well done.
For some reason, Bob's audio and camera no longer works.
Right. I'm just joking.
Yeah, right.
I figured you like that. I mean,
yeah. Good one, Paul. Yeah.
See, I totally missed it.
He was making a reference of how loud you are.
All right. I know how I can be.
See, now the listeners they're like, what the fuck are they doing?
All I hear is silence now. Nobody's talking.
It's crazy.
I watched half the show, and then the rest was just 3 assholes glaring at each other.
No, but this is awesome. Thanks so much for this.
You're welcome.
Yay. Awesome.
I was like, what does Jason need? Another black T-shirt with zombies on it.
That's what I need.
Can never have too many.
No. Never. So now we are officially done with the intro and announcements.
Oh, okay. I'm moving right along.
All right, thank you. You want a pen to mark that off?
Sorry, Tron Uprising.
But we're talking about the box. So what do you the Blu-ray 3D Blu-ray Ultimate box set for the Avengers is coming out. It's called Phase 1. And
how much do you think it'll be? Because I've looked around and I haven't seen any dollar signs.
Well, let's talk about what's in it first, and then we'll
10 discs. Wow.
Yeah, it's 10 discs, but not only that, but it comes in a replica of Nick Fury's briefcase.
I'll say about $200.
And then it also has, what is it,
so it's the metal briefcase. It's like the Shield briefcase, and then when you open it up, all the discs are like files in it, and then there's like a glowing tesseract in the.
That's cool.
In it,
yeah.
And that briefcase that Fury carried the tesseract around in, and then on the lid of the tesseract is the Tony Stark arc reactor.
Wow.
It's fucking badass.
I mean, again, I'm not really that big of a fan of the Avengers. I didn't, as we know, it was an enjoyable movie, but not my favorite. But this little DVD or Blu-ray box set is pretty awesome. I mean, because outside of
Captain America,
yeah,
but
the awesome
we've talked about it.
Yeah, but you love.
I just want to bring him down a little bit.
Beat him down some more.
And the chat room also agrees with Paul and I.
Really?
No.
Who's in the chat room?
There's nobody in the chat room.
I was like, who is it? You tell me.
He becomes the Hulk. But the box set's gonna, has all those little awesome features to it. But it also has the Blu-ray 3D disc and the regular Blu-ray disc. It has the Marvel Avengers, Captain America, the First Avenger, Thor, Iron Man 2, and the Incredible Hulk.
And the first Iron Man as well.
Oh yeah, Iron Man, and a bonus disc of Phase 1 Archives.
Yeah.
So
have you seen what Marvel... Right, so
It
Marvel's
comes out
calling that Phase 1.
Yeah.
And at Comic-Con, they announced their Phase 2 movies.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, Phase 2 movies will be Iron Man 3, a second Thor movie. But they're not calling them... They're going the sort of Indiana Jones route.
Right. Not Indiana Jones 3, but The Last Crusade.
Right. I think the Thor movie would be like Thor: Gods of Winter or something. I forget what it was. And then
Winter is here.
Yeah, winter's coming.
That's it. Yeah.
Ant-Man. That's going to move forward.
Ant-Man.
Yes, Ant-Man.
That sounds interesting.
Got to have an Ant-Man if you want to have a Wasp and a Yellow Jacket. Who are Avengers? You guys keeping up with me?
I thought you were just talking about your little farm.
Oh, my gosh. All right, yeah. So one of the key guys in the Avengers is Dr. Henry Pym, who's Giant Man, Ant-Man, Wasp. He's all those. And Marvel is looking to expand their roster of Avengers names and then include other guys. They're going forward with Guardians of the Galaxy, which is going to make the Marvel universe bigger. Guardians of the Galaxy, they're all aliens. That's what they have. Rocket Raccoon. I'm not even making this up.
Wow. Maybe they'll get the guy that did the Green Lantern to do the.
Oh no! Don't say that because Green Lantern was awful.
He's just pushing buttons.
I'm trying to think. They're going to move forward on another Captain America movie.
So, but the Green Lantern was an Avenger, right?
No.
You're
No.
way
Whoa,
away.
it got knocked
Green
out.
Lantern was Green Lantern is a Justice League. He's DC Comics.
The other-
Avengers
okay,
is
okay.
Marvel.
Whoa.
Nerd fight.
Damn.
Okay.
You straight now?
Yeah, apparently.
All right. So cool. So we're gonna have another
That'll be Phase 2.
6 years of superhero movies,
At least.
and then they're gonna merge together again with all these characters,
Yeah.
and then we're gonna have Stage 3, and then there's gonna try to acquire Spider-Man and all that, right?
Yeah, they said they're going to go after Spider-Man
Wow.
and Fantastic Four and X-Men.
Jesus. So in about 15
They got
years,
all that-
they're all going to meet Abbott and Costello.
Yeah.
Once it dies down.
Frankenstein.
It's like we can squeeze a little more out of this.
Bob must be tired.
Who would they meet instead of Abbott and Costello now?
The Three Stooges.
Oh,
No,
the new
no,
ones.
No. I meant like current day.
Scooby-Doo.
No, I guess who would be the current day?
Laurel and Hardy. Yeah, I don't know.
Not
Not Laurel and
Knots?
Hardy.
Ben Stiller.
Yeah.
The Mystery Men. They do a
Oh
film.
God, that would be awful.
See, I like the Mystery Men movie. You know about the one with
I've
Janine
never
Garofalo?
watched it all. Yeah, I saw like the last 5 minutes of it the other day, and
I thought it was really funny in that it was sort of a rip on comic book heroes, and but they're all like bee stringers, you know,
Right, yeah.
like they're all, none of them have any really great powers, right? Remember, like the shoveler, it was his power was I shovel really well. I mean, that was, that was really the bowler, that was great.
Yeah.
And when who was the main hero in that? It was played by Greg Kinnear. He was like Captain Amazing or something like that. And when they're like, no, this lawyer or so and so is Captain Amazing, and William H. Macy's like, no, he wears glasses. Captain Amazing doesn't wear glasses. Why would you think that they would be the same person? One wears glasses, the other doesn't. I don't know. Maybe that was a movie had to have a more profound appreciation of comic book heroes.
It's possible.
Well, let's talk about the
I wanted
glasses.
to see Megamind, though. Did you watch that?
Yeah, Megamind was fun.
Was that good?
Yeah, that was good.
Speaking of,
I also just want to keep interrupting people.
Damn. But speaking
So
of,
you were saying about
Oh.
yeah.
Anybody want a peanut?
Are you guys ready to continue the show?
Yeah, that was a really poor Andre the Giant Princess Bride reference there.
But anyway, speaking of the costume being the glasses, there's a new Superman movie called Man of Steel, which comes out June 14th, 2013.
directed by Zack Snyder.
Yeah. So what do you think about it?
There was a teaser in it, or there was a teaser in front of the Dark Knight Rises for the Man of Steel movie,
Yeah.
and it really didn't give anything away other than you hear like a Russell Crowe, because Russell Crowe is playing Jor-El, and Kevin Costner is Pa Kent. Weird. I don't know what to think about that, but it has a
No, because that's really Kevin Costner only excels at playing countrified people
Yeah.
or Civil War heroes. That's what he does.
Yeah, it is kind of his thing.
Yeah.
But
So
in the trailer, you don't see any of them. You just see like Henry Cavill with a beard working on a crab boat in the.
Now, this
Arctic.
isn't a continuation of the last two new Supermans.
No. Zack Snyder wants to build.
So we're starting over for a third time.
We're not starting over. No, it's the first time we're starting over.
Okay. So
What?
Christopher Reeve and all that. None of that counts.
No.
Okay.
But
No.
this would be the third time.
They're the most successful of all of them.
No, all right. So that's a good point, though. It's something to think about because the first Superman movie with Christopher Reeve was Richard Donner, and Richard Donner actually tried to do that thing that's done now all the time, where he tried to film two movies concurrently, and so he tried to film Superman and Superman 2 at the same time. But apparently the studios got involved. It's like a big sad story, and so he abandoned the project, and then they hired another director to finish the principal photography that they used that would go on to be Superman 2. And then if you look now, you can find a version of Superman 2 called the Richard Donner cut, which is a little different, and it's a different movie than the theatrical version of Superman 2. And then, all right, so then Superman 3 was the one with Richard Pryor, which was awful. And apparently, I understand that whole movie, the whole concept of that movie,
I've never seen that.
it's terrible. It's really bad.
I've
It has
just always
Richard Pryor.
stopped
It's
it, too.
awesome.
But the whole concept of that movie was because Richard Pryor was on like Late Night with David Letterman, and he was talking about going to see Superman, and he loved it. And when he was on Late Night with David Letterman or Johnny Carson or whoever it was at that time, I forget, he like grabbed a towel and put it around his neck and acted like he was flying around. And that whole scene is in Superman 3 when Richard Pryor's character is talking about meeting Superman for the first time in the movie. And so this whole concept of Superman 3 was born out of Richard Pryor's reaction to the Superman movies. It's really bad. It's an awful movie.
Wow.
And then, all right, so then Superman 4 was the Quest for Peace. That was when they bring Gene Hackman back, and then Gene Hackman makes like a Superman clone out of his hair or something.
I vaguely remember that.
And it's really bad too. It's even worse than Superman 3.
Right. So, and then a few years ago, they said, all right, we're going to start over.
No, they didn't start over. That was what was kind of interesting about that movie. That was the Superman Returns, directed by Bryan Singer, who left the X-Men. Bryan Singer was doing the X-Men movies. He did X-Men and X-Men United. And he was going to move forward on the third X-Men movie, but he abandoned that to go do the Superman movie, and he did Superman Returns, which meant that Brett Ratner came in and did the third X movie, which was awful. But
in the same timeline as Superman Returns, the comics came out where Superman died.
No, that was before. That was
it before?
But
yeah.
in Superman Returns, where did it start at the beginning?
So Superman Returns, what Bryan Singer decided to do in Superman Returns was his movie would live in the Richard Donner universe.
Right.
So that's why they had...
But it didn't take place after 1 through 4.
It took place after 2.
It took place after 2.
Yes.
So you just totally discounted.
It sort of ignored the Richard Pryor Superman 3 and the Superman Quest for Peace.
So I can't remember because
it lived in the Richard Donner.
So it didn't
Superman
show him
world.
as a kid or anything like growing up on the.
They
farm.
had you didn't see it?
I did, but I can't remember.
There was like 1 or 2 scenes that showed a young Clark Kent running through cornfields and then learning to fly.
That's a start over.
No, it isn't. It was just a flashback. In fact, the movie Superman Returns, the premise of the movie is that Superman's been gone a long time. All the stuff that happened in the Richard Donner movies, it all happened, and they are all living with it. And then when Superman realizes that there's other Kryptonians, he leaves Earth, flies out on his spaceship to go to where Krypton was to see if there were other Kryptonians. And then he comes back. And so when his return to Earth is the start of the Bryan Singer movie.
I had no idea they were connected. I just thought they were like, all right, let's do it
again. Interestingly enough, the show Smallville, which ended its 10-year run, that lived in the Dick Donner universe as well. Like, because if you look at all the art direction, all of the Fortress of Solitude stuff, it all looks the same. In fact, they even used the Superman suit that Brandon Routh wore in Superman Returns at the end of Smallville, when he finally puts on the cape and tights.
So where does Man of Steel fall into this?
Totally starts over.
Starts fresh. It's
totally. They're gonna. Zack Snyder wipes the slate clean, starts again.
And okay, we kind of understand why they are rebooting Spider-Man, or we thought we understood why they reboot Spider-Man and trying to get the Hulk and all these so they could kind of merge them together for the Avengers. Why do you think they are rebooting Superman? Do you think there's going to be a bigger, or do they just wanted it? It's an easy story.
DC has wanted to pursue a Justice League movie for a long time.
So you think it's building up for that?
And I think that if the Superman movie gets off the ground and it does well, then they'll have some capital to move forward with a Wonder Woman movie, and then maybe open up the Batman universe a little bit.
Do you think
if you do that, then you can have a Justice League movie.
Do you think they're afraid to touch Wonder Woman after what happened to this TV series? Because they got canned after everybody freaked out about her costume.
Yeah, I don't know. And you know, the Superman costume in the Zack Snyder movie Man of Steel is different.
Is it?
Yeah, they've changed it. He doesn't have the red underwear. It's just all blue.
Really? How's the fans reacting to that? Do you know?
Some people are pissed off about it.
Because you don't mess with the costumes.
I know.
Of course.
Well, you don't mess
I never understood why people were really big Superman fans. Like, even as a kid, I watched it and I was like, all right, so there's one thing that can kill him. You know, the stakes are only high a tiny fraction of the time, you know. So I never got it. This guy that was so good at everything, and everyone's like, oh, he's good. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a valid point, I guess.
Superman isn't weak enough to be likable, in my opinion.
Well, you know, so that's
Whereas
the thing,
Batman,
right?
I mean, this is the same argument that fucking nerds have.
Oh yeah, all the time. I know, right?
Right.
And I'm with you on that.
I watched since I wasn't too into all of this. I watched some friends in high school getting in an argument over who was cooler, Wolverine or Superman, right? And yeah, I already know what side you're taking because I can tell by your, oh my God, I can't believe that conversation happened. So
I thought the biggest battle.
But what was great was that at one point it was getting heated, and the guy threw his thing down and said, "But Wolverine isn't real." And we all just kind of looked at him.
All right. Somebody has to take a step back.
Yeah. It's like, wow.
The arguments that I've always seen when it came to Wolverine was between Wolverine and Sabretooth.
Well,
I don't even
Wolverine
know
and
who
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth
Yeah,
is.
see?
Look, he started going on. Go ahead,
I was
finish.
like, well, actually, Wolverine and Sabretooth, they were part of the Weapon X program, and so they're contemporaries, and they both live in the Marvel Universe, and all that doesn't matter. I mean, that's like Wolverine and Sabretooth is an apples-to-apples comparison, right? They both have claws. They both have heightened senses. They both have healing factors. They're both agile fighters. I mean, they're the same guy. Wolverine and Sabretooth are the same guy. Just one guy is, I don't know, Canadian, and the other guy isn't.
Well, let me throw in a curveball. What about Beast and Sabretooth? That's always an argument.
Well, those are actually different characters because Beast is
Intellectual?
Yeah. Beast was like a scientist in a research where Sabretooth just sort of embraced that savage side, whereas Beast was always trying to fight it. I mean, that's different. It's sort of, that's one of those two sides of the same coin type of characters. I don't know.
Yeah.
But the whole Batman and Superman thing, I have, I want people to love what they love and really, be passionate about it. And I appreciate everybody who's passionate about Batman. I get Batman, man. Batman's fucking cool. But for me, Superman is a little bit more of a nuanced thing in that, like, Batman and Superman are an interesting dichotomy because, for Batman,
one's in all this world of shit.
Well,
and the other one comes.
I mean, they both live in the same DC universe, but Batman's a normal guy. He has no superpowers, although other people have argued that Batman has the best superpower in that he's super rich.
I think you're the only one that argues.
No, I'm not the only one. I promise you they're out there. But at the end of the day, Batman's a real guy, right? And the ethos of Batman is that Batman is his real identity. He's really Batman, right? Whereas for him, Bruce Wayne is the disguise, right? And for Superman, it's the opposite, right? Superman is the disguise. Who he really wants to be is Clark Kent. And Superman, unlike Batman, isn't a normal guy. He's not even human. He's an alien, right? But he's been transplanted to Earth. He's been sent to Earth, and he has all of this responsibility. Has all of this power. Batman is driven to do what he does out of a sense of justice. And Batman, he trains his body and he spends all these time and resources for fighting crime. Whereas Superman, you're right, he's absolutely superpowered. He can do anything he wants. And that's why one of the greatest moments in the Bryan Singer Superman movie is when he flies up into you see him up in the atmosphere and he's just standing there listening and he can hear everything. He hears every cry for help. He hears every every crime committed. He's aware of it and he has to decide. He has to make those decisions to save this person and let this person die or let this person suffer. And so on one level, Superman is like a really interesting theological problem. I mean, he's a god. He's all powerful, all knowing. He can be anywhere at any time. But what he really wants to do more than anything else is be a regular person. And when he's Clark Kent, the best Superman stories start out as Clark Kent. When Superman wants to be Clark Kent so badly, he's struggling to find his humanity, those are interesting stories. Not, he's just going to move the planet and beat Lex Luthor. No, that's junk comic book story writing. The best stories about Superman are about him trying to find this aspect of humanity and hold on to it. That's why Superman, for me, is great.
What about you, Paul?
Fucking hate you, man.
No, Bob makes a good argument, but like I said, I care,
and I really like
superheroes aren't my specialty at all. Now, if we were discussing, I don't even know what my specialty is. if we were discussing, the charm in Plan 9 from Outer Space, I would get on a soapbox and rant about, something. Actually, I probably wouldn't. I'm too apathetic. But, yeah, I mean, what he said. I don't know. I don't really.
I do like having
I've never
those
been into superheroes that much.
Yeah.
I've actually figured out a way, because every once in a while I'm all about the big blue Boy Scout. I'm a big Superman fan, and I found myself in those arguments where people were like, "Well, who'd win in a fight, Batman or Superman?" And even though I'm a big Superman fan, I fall down on the side like, well, Batman would obviously kick his ass. And you know why? Because Batman will cheat. Batman will pursue any end that justifies his means. He will plan ahead. He will cheat. There's no outcome. There's no scenario that Batman hasn't already thought of. Whereas Superman just takes it on the chin and does the best he can, right? So, in that sense, I admire Superman for his integrity. Right? I mean, and Batman has integrity too, but in a different sort of way. So in that fight between Batman and Superman, Batman cheats and wins.
When they were created, right? I mean, when was Batman made?
I'm not sure offhand. Shortly after Superman. I think Superman came first.
Right, okay, but they're not. It wasn't like one's from the 30s and one's from the 60s or something.
No, they're not that far apart.
Okay, I thought they were.
No, in fact, Batman was really a reaction to Superman.
Okay.
And Superman was really a reaction to the times, because Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, they were immigrants. They were,
right.
Poor artists trying to make a living, and they had this idolized, Man of Steel. And what we know of Superman today really isn't how he was then. I mean, he was from Krypton, but he didn't fly around, right? That was why they always say, like, able to leap tall buildings in a single bound. Superman couldn't fly. That sort of got added on later.
Because it was just that he could jump.
Yeah, he could actually jump that high. And, the story's changed a little bit, but I still maintain the best Superman stories are the ones that deal with his struggle for humanity. You got to get Robert Price on here for that. He's a big Superman fan. Yeah. He gets into it, man. I like listening to him talk about Superman.
Well, I think we've beat that horse. Let's move on to the next topic.
Check.
There's a movie coming out that we are going to give away free event screening tickets to, and this movie comes out August 10th, 2012, and it's called The Campaign, and this is the new Will Ferrell movie where he's a politician who runs for office. He's runs unchallenged, and it seems like it's Anchorman, but as a politician, just a typical Will Ferrell. What do you think of it?
I think Will Ferrell can be funny, but has to be one of the most overrated actors and comedic guys ever. I rarely find him that funny. I'd say the movie I like the best of his, and I can't remember the title. It's the one where he hears the narrator who's writing the book.
Oh, that's him playing against type. That's
I know.
That's Stranger Than Fiction.
Yes, I think kind of like Robin Williams is very funny, but you know what? To me, he plays a better killer in Insomnia or 1 Hour Photo.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
he does better than the genie.
I hear it from I have a brother who's an actor,
right?
And I hear it from him. So this was what I know about it, just from what I hear from him. But he's told me that, like, angry, upset, all those things that we take to be the dramatic roles, right? He said those are easy. That's easy to do. The hardest thing is to be funny.
Yeah, no, I've heard that forever from everybody, and I've seen really funny guys. And he could be funny on Saturday Night Live. I just don't find the majority of his movies that funny.
Well, I think the problem with,
I mean,
especially
Talladega
comedians,
Nights is cute and funny, but
I think that's
just think the level. It was Will Ferrell's great, and for me it always misses the point. Shit, what was the last? Maybe not the last one. The one where he goes back in time.
Hot Tub Time
Hot
Machine?
Tub Time Machine.
No,
that wasn't
no,
Will Ferrell.
We just wanted to say Hot Tub.
It's like some sort of
Hot Tub Time Machine.
No, The Land That Time Forgot, or what was it?
That wasn't very good at all.
Land of the Lost?
Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
He was collecting a paycheck.
Yeah, that was pretty ratchet.
But I think what happens with those type of actors, because it happens a lot, especially the new Saturday Night Live, is they do a skit that does well, and then studios start throwing money at it. Let's make a movie at it and do this thing over and over again, and it kind of becomes. It kind of becomes something like the police academies. It starts becoming something,
Well,
but of a different caliber. It's just the new brand of let's rebirth the same story over and over again.
He's better than
I think
people that come from Saturday Night Live. I mean, he hasn't made a Night at the Roxbury or anything like that.
Yeah,
but
he
it's
did.
still the same.
He was in Night at the Roxbury.
No, but I meant like sorry, that was a bad. He's not like the two main guys from Night.
He's one of the main guys at Night at the Roxbury. He's the older brother.
All right, stop it. He sucks. He shouldn't.
It's him
be
and Chris. It's
Will
him and
Ferrell
Chris
should go
Kattan.
hang himself.
All right, so here's the thing, and this is where I disagree with this. In that, I actually like Night at the Roxbury because I think Night at the Roxbury did the thing that few skit to film. I don't know what else to call them, because sometimes there's that thing where like did you see the MacGruber movie?
Actually, I did.
God, fucking awful.
After.
It was awful,
and it had some of the funniest parts
like,
ever in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, the MacGruber skit is kind of funny.
Yeah.
In the sense that it's a 5-minute skit on Saturday Night Live and sort of a recurring joke.
Yeah.
Works in the sense that it's a 5-minute skit. When it's a 2-hour movie, god awful, right? And but I actually like Night at the Roxbury because Night at the Roxbury took that 5-minute skit and it sort of grew it. It made it bigger. It made it more to it, not just rehashing that same joke over and over and over again. Although that was in there, right?
Yeah. I can't believe I totally forgot that.
Yeah. But there's some other SNL movies that I don't think did very good. Like It's Pat, awful.
Yeah.
I won't even watch the Superstar.
Stuart Smalley Saves His Family, awful. Superstar was.
I can't even imagine that people watched these.
Yeah,
I mean, and I watched some shit. But
to be fair though, the Night of the Roxbury, I think that was Chris Kattan's skit, and Will Ferrell was just a player in it. And I don't think Will Ferrell done anything that was like skit to film, right? Superstar was skit to film. Night of the Roxbury was skit to film. MacGruber, skit to film. Has Will Ferrell done anything that was a skit to a film?
I guess just the Rock.
Wayne's World was skit to film. Although Wayne's World I kind of liked.
But he continues the same type of character. It may not be skit to film, but it's still the same.
I mean, a lot of actors do the same type of character.
Well, yeah. If you look at the original cast of Saturday Night Live that we grew up in,
that was an alright movie.
Skit to film is not that abnormal coming from Saturday Night Live. Look at the Blues Brothers, which we thought it was a good conversion.
Yeah. I did like the Blues Brothers.
Yeah. Part 2 and 3, no.
I pretend they don't
I
exist.
never watched them. The skits I never liked them.
Well, the Blues Brothers was never really a skit. It was a music act. They didn't come out and they didn't do a Blues Brothers sketch. They came out and sang songs.
Well, they came out. They came out. But the story, they had a little bit of story play to it, but it wasn't
Rubber Biscuit.
Yeah, I used to have that record.
Yeah.
But it can be done. The point is that you can take these characters and do well. But I think what made the Blues Brothers stay iconic in our head was that that same character didn't show up in different type of movies. It wasn't Will Ferrell playing Talladega or whatever that race car
Ricky Bobby.
Ricky Bobby.
Yeah, Will Ferrell does play the same character in that all right, Ricky Bobby and
Anchorman,
which was Ron Burgundy, and now this new one with the candidate. He looks to be the same guy. Just it's like the same guy who's a race car driver, the same guy who is a politician, the same guy who's a news anchor. It's just a guy that's so full of himself he's unaware of his own shortcomings.
Yeah.
And then hilarity ensues.
But how is it? I mean, I think that's why I have a problem with his movies is because it's the same thing. It's just, but when I say that
semi-pro, again a semi-pro. That was another. It was the one where he was the semi-pro basketball player who thought he was great, but was unaware of his own shortcomings. Again, thought that he was so great, the greatest thing ever, and then unaware of his own shortcomings.
So you see one of his movies, you see them all.
Yeah, I could see that.
But how is this different than the movies that we grew up with, like with Police Academy? How many Police Academies have we watched?
It's kind of like watching any movie ever with
Friday 13th, Nightmare.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no.
I maintain the Police Academy movies. They stopped being funny 30 minutes into the first film.
Yeah, that's true.
But how many did you see?
I've never even seen a full
I don't know. Like
Academy
I know I
movie.
watched. Okay, yeah, I may have watched the second and the third one, but I was 8. It was on. It was on Cinemax. I thought I was going to see boobs. Of course, I watched the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of actors do play that. Like John Cusack's kind of been the same guy.
Yeah. Only if it's
until
raining.
he was Edgar Allan Poe recently.
Which that movie apparently flopped.
Yeah, it was.
You saw it?
Yeah, I wanted it to be good. It was just mildly okay if you want it to be really okay. It was just there was nothing there.
Yeah,
you know
that's sad because he
was
potential.
good in it,
Yeah.
but there was nothing he could do.
Yeah.
But yeah, John Cusack is the same fucking cool kind of guy in every movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
The same guy in what was the first one? Better Off Dead. Just grew up and bought a fucking record store.
Yeah,
that's all it is, right? Shit didn't work out with the French chick, so he's moved on.
Right.
He made her a mixtape.
I know. And when the record store goes under, he goes on as a contract killer and grows point blank.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Picks up a new career.
He just snaps and
same guy. And then he meets Kate Beckinsale at that one on the ice rink that time.
He was also briefly a grifter. Literally.
So what we're saying is that nothing's ever changed.
I did like Grifters, though. That was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
It's still the same concept. It's just new generations for it.
I think so. I mean, look at like old Hollywood. That's supposed to be, the glamour time and when it was all great. Everyone says, and all the actors seem like they did the same shit over and over again.
Vincent Price. Let's look at him. Let's look at Vincent. I mean, seriously.
Well, actually, he started off not doing horror at all. He was a really dramatic actor, but then once you get successful at one thing,
Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, and
no, Christopher Lee had a varied. All the Hammer stuff was kind of the same, but I only say this because I bought a book the other week called Monsters in Movies by John Landis. It was like a $40 hardback book. It's amazing, giant ass thing, 300 pages. And the premise is this book is full of monsters that I think are cool. It's not that academic, but I mean it breaks it down into vampires. And I was reading about earlier today about Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing, how they always did those over and over and are best known for that, but still had careers where they did many other things. They're just best known for that.
So did Vincent Price, though. Vincent Price did other things.
Yeah.
But
he did that record for tourism to Italy that we saw.
And him and his wife did a cookbook, which is, if you find it, it's worth a shitload of money.
Yeah.
But So going back to your point of saying that, even in the golden age that people were typecasting. Yeah, Laurel and Hardy and all them were. Don Knotts, Tim Conway.
Action heroes, though. Look at action heroes. I mean, they're essentially all the same kind of guy.
Who was an action hero back then that we could pull off?
It's not necessarily action.
Flicks
that's Errol Flynn.
Yeah.
There's like 6 Errol Flynn movies. There's like one when he's a pirate, and the other one where he's
you
like,
know what it is? It's like an Elvis Presley movie. It's the same guy.
Well, you know who did that really well was I think the best example of that was the Three Stooges. There's like I don't know how many Three Stooges episodes there are. I bet there's hundreds.
I have 3D copies.
But I think that there's probably only like 5 Three Stooges scripts.
Right.
And there's one where they're like
and 2
dentists.
of them are good.
Yeah. Like, so like there's a script where they're dentists, and then like all right, on this one they're dentists in ancient Greece, and then they're dentists in the Old West, and then they're dentists
instead of dentist,
in the future.
let's make them a barber.
Yeah, I mean, the Three Stooges, and even the dialogue is the same, the jokes are the same. They just change the settings and the environment, and I know movies do that.
Well,
to
it's
some
kind of like
extent.
Saturday Night Live skit. Like, oh, what talk show is this? That's a staple of skit comedy now. The talk show.
Yeah, it is, but I also think that's got to be like low hanging fruit, man. Because you could, that's like comedy gold.
Yeah,
you can mine that forever.
But anyway, I guess actors have always been doing the same. I think there's only ever been a real handful that, and that are really good and versatile. But what the fuck do I know about acting? I have no background in it, so don't listen to me.
That's why you're a critic.
Yeah, exactly. Because I can't act.
But all of that aside, Will Ferrell, I think, has been pretty successful in at least, I don't want to say coming up with original ideas, but he's not recycling skits into movies. There was never a Ricky Bobby skit.
No.
There wasn't a Ron Burgundy skit.
Right.
All of those sort of grew organically out of, his own.
But they're just the same guy.
How is that different? How is that different from what he's doing? He has that one character that he can put any name on and any hat on it, but it's still the same character. How is that? And take that and put
he's
it
ridiculous,
in any movie.
but doesn't recognize that.
I don't know. I mean, I guess that's
it's like he plays the funny man and
than anything else.
Man at the same time.
I'm not saying that he shouldn't do it, but
his best movies are when he plays against type.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and Stranger Than Fiction was really great.
Elf
Melinda and Melinda.
I didn't see that.
That was really good. It was a Woody Allen movie, and he plays against type. In the new movie, he was in Everything Must Go. Again, very serious, dramatic role. That as a comedic actor, he handles really well, and I maintain that comedy is more difficult, and comedic actors make excellent dramatic actors.
Do you think he knows? Do you think when they do films like this, that he thinks, yeah, I enjoy the comedy, I enjoy the laughs, I have fun working with the people that I work with. This is easy money for my bank. So, and then,
yeah. That's exactly what he's thinking. He's thinking easy money. I mean, come on, it's got to be fun working on a comedy movie. It's got to be more fun doing gags and jokes and goofing off
than having to cry and yeah.
Okay, I think we killed that one. Another movie that's coming out August 10th, 2012 that we are giving event screening to is The Bourne Legacy.
God, this is the most non-horror show.
We're getting to it.
We got one thing at the end.
Yeah. So The Bourne Legacy, I've only seen. I think I've seen both.
There's 3.
Yeah,
3.
I've seen 2 of them.
Identity, Supremacy, Ultimatum.
And they're all really good.
Yeah, they are.
But this one doesn't have...
I liked all 3 of them.
They are fantastic, man.
Yeah, I think Greengrass did all 3 of them. Paul Greengrass.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like them, definitely check out the other Paul Greengrass movie. I think it's overlooked because everybody thinks it's like it's just the next Bourne movie is... It has Matt Damon in it. In fact, it's called Green Zone.
Really?
Oh, man, it's fantastic. And it's not the next Bourne movie at all. It's really, really good and totally different from what you would expect. Excellent movie. Cue that one up, Green Zone.
Well, this one here doesn't have... it has a new main character.
Yeah,
the guy who played Hawkeye.
Jeremy Renner.
He's the one that played Hawkeye.
Yeah, and he was in Hurt Locker.
Yeah.
More importantly, he was Hawkeye.
right.
And what film was that again?
Marvel's The Avengers. $600 million. 1.5 billion.
I just have
worldwide.
to say, I just love. We have to go back to the Avenger argument real quick. I just love that every other argument, the majority's usually wrong, and he doesn't agree with. But as soon as it's with the Avengers, he's like, "It's great." But anyway, so back to the Bourne Legacy. Are you gonna go see it? What do you think of it?
Yeah, I'd like to go see that. It'll look great. In fact, have you guys seen the trailers for it?
No.
So they're trailing it now. It was in front of Dark Knight Rises, and it looks like the female lead in it is Rachel Weisz, which I like her a lot. And Ed Norton is in it. He plays one of the CIA bureaucrats, and it looks as though
he's also a good Boy Scout leader.
Yeah, I know, he's great.
Stacey Keach and Oscar Isaac.
They you know that scene in I guess it was in Ultimatum when Patty Considine is the journalist that's sort of starting to uncover Treadstone, and then Matt Damon, Jason Bourne, is trying to like talk him through. He's trying to like meet up with him, and he's talking him through this bit where they're going to meet at this subway station, and he gets shot. They sniper him. That scene will be rehashed from another perspective in the Bourne Legacy movie, because apparently Jeremy Renner was there at the time. I don't know, and I guess in the
so there's gonna be a lot of crossover.
There'll be a lot of crossover with previous films, and but it actually makes a lot of sense, right? Because in the first Bourne movie, when then it's Blackbriar, it's not Treadstone. It's just they're just like the Blackbriar group. You get the sense that Jason Bourne wasn't their only agent. In fact, they activate three others
to go get
and
him.
One of them's Clive Owen. Where did that guy come from? And he has that big fight in his apartment and stabs the guy with a pen. That was great.
Yeah, our friend that we've had on here before, Doy.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, every time we talk about that, he's like, "Oh, bro, that's Arnis. That's Filipino martial arts, man. Yeah, you can stab anybody in the eye with a pen." He like loves to tell.
Yeah, he needs to come back on.
He's in San Francisco, so.
Well, that might happen.
Actually, it's the computer age, man.
Yeah. I know. He's supposed to be coming back to
What's
town.
stopping you?
What's that?
He's supposed to be coming back to town.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We'll get him on the show.
I'm trying to get him out here, but he's scared of flying.
He can walk.
I know.
Make that cross-country drive.
Yeah. So, since Paul was saying that we don't have enough horror on here, I want to talk about House at the End of the Street, which comes out September 21st. It's a horror thriller, but I don't know.
To me, it looks like anything else. I'm not at all excited about it. I've seen the trailers.
I'm kind of when I read the plot and stuff, I was just like,
Yeah, I mean the trailer's okay. It's just
I like it for Jennifer Lawrence
because she was in.
Because she's a phenomenal actress.
Yeah.
Have you guys seen her in Winter's Bone?
No.
Oh, awesome. Now I'm surprised she's in anything else because she's too busy counting the money she made in the Hunger Games.
Oh, her.
But she was really, really good in Winter's Bone. And I liked her in the X-Men movie because she was Mystique.
Yeah.
And I kind of respect her for that because she could have ditched on the X-Men movies and she rearranged her schedule to do both.
What year were the X-Men movies supposed to take place, roughly? In the 60s, right?
Well, the first two, the first three
were
were
the first class one. Sorry.
60s.
It's the 60s. And when was the first one supposed to take place?
Modern day.
Okay.
Current.
It just seems to me that the ages don't match up for people. 1962 was 50 years ago.
Mystique is ageless.
Okay, that's fine, but not everybody else is.
Wolverine is ageless.
All right.
So who else?
Keep going. I don't know.
Professor X was an old man in a wheelchair.
He doesn't look old
Magneto
enough.
was an old man.
It doesn't add up. The math just doesn't seem right to me. I don't know. What about the fucking guy with the red shit coming out of his eye.
Cyclops, he wasn't in the. He wasn't in.
He wasn't
First
in
Class.
That's the best.
Yeah.
The only people that were in First Class that were in the modern X-Men movies were Xavier.
Okay.
And in First Class, he's a young guy in his 20s, and in the X-Men movies, the modern X-Men movies, the Bryan Singer movies, he was an old man of I don't know how old.
Okay.
And then the same thing for Fassbender in First Class. He was Magneto, a man 20 or 30 years old.
Right.
He was a little boy in World War II.
Right.
And now he's an old guy. He played by
Right, yeah. Okay.
Ian McKellen.
I didn't know the other
And
people
then,
were ageless.
Yeah, and Mystique
Because
is ageless.
the ages do not add up.
Yeah, Mystique is ageless and Wolverine is ageless.
Oh. This is why I hate comic book stuff.
It's just like
It's just like they just write it in at the end. Fuck it, and he'll be able to do this.
Yeah. He just got stabbed. What
Sorry,
are we gonna do?
man.
Oh, wait.
That's fine. I'm just not a fan.
Paul likes reality, and you keep.
Yeah, in all his horror movies, that's what he goes for, the really realistic.
Well, I mean, that's why I haven't really thought about it, but that's why you can have Mystique in an early X-Men movie because she's a shapeshifter. She can be anything she wants to be. She's ageless, and Wolverine shows up and he's ageless too.
He wasn't before he became Wolverine.
So because she's a shapeshifter, she never ages?
Yeah, he was ageless
she
before he
could just
became
look
Wolverine
ageless.
because the healing factor, he never really ages. And it was his healing factor,
That was what made them do the.
which has allowed them to
yeah.
do
Right.
Weapon X.
I always
protocol.
love these things, like even in vampire movies, like the few where a vampire is born, like what age do they stop?
Yeah.
Same thing with Wolverine. You know, he didn't stop as an infant. Oh, he fucking heals himself forever. He'll never grow.
Right.
You know.
It's whatever age is convenient for the plot line.
Exactly.
That's really the hard and fast truth of it.
Yeah. I guess you got to overlook a few things.
Bob overlooking a couple of things.
I think if you consider the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie is canonical, then Wolverine, I don't know, he's a couple hundred years old because he was born in.
Yeah.
They show him and Sabretooth growing up.
That's right, he is.
During the
I forgot
in
about
the Revolutionary War, or maybe it was pre-Civil War,
that. I think it was pre-Civil War.
like just before the Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so Wolverine just gets to be that perfect age, and then he moves on, never ages beyond that.
It's crazy. But speaking
It's comic books, man.
But speaking of bizarre worlds, Sam Raimi is the director of an upcoming film that comes out March 8th, 2013.
That's your best segue yet.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Thanks.
That was actually the segue because
3 years in the making.
so far tonight he's just been like, all right, that's done. Next. Tired of hearing you run your fucking mouth.
But Sam Raimi is directing Oz the Great and Powerful. Have you seen the trailer for this yet?
Yep.
Jan has. I have it. It looks I heard
awesome.
You'll love it because it looks like it's going to be in good 3D.
Yes.
It looks like it's going to be a 3D heavy movie.
Fuck yeah, and the special effects, even outside of that, even if you take away that it's going to be in 3D and the special effects, I love the storyline to it. I love the feel of. I love the trailer that just came out. I think this is going to be an awesome fucking movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of depth there.
Yeah.
I mean, I like those. See, like this is what I.
Well, let's get the backstory for people who don't know, haven't seen it yet. This is digging into how the Wizard of Oz became the Wizard of Oz. And, it talks about how he was kind of starts off like Dorothy did in the Wizard of Oz, of him and his life, and he gets sucked. It looks like he does a science experiment / magical.
He was a
experiment.
magician, a huckster.
Yeah, and he took a hot air balloon, got caught into the tornado that takes him to Oz, and then the trailer doesn't go deeper into that. But I mean, it's just the way it looks, the way it feels, the way the story lays out in the trailer just looks phenomenal. I love it.
I think it has potential, and I like that. I like when filmmakers and writers in general when they take an idea like the Wizard of Oz or I mean, anything really, Batman or Spider-Man. Yeah. And I like it better when they don't rehash things that we all already know. I like it when they explore
like in the new
uncharted territory.
Spider-Man.
Well, that was the problem with the new Spider-Man. They kept rehashing the same story that we know. We know it already.
Yeah.
Whereas I don't know how the guy got there in the balloon in the Wizard of Oz. Even L. Frank Baum didn't write about that. He just said, he just sort of wrote that it had happened and then moved on. But now there's a whole story to be told there.
There's like 14 of those books.
There are a lot of them, yeah.
At least 14 that I know of, because I was on an ebook site, and that was the highest number I remember seeing. But they weren't in order, so there may be more.
I read the first two, Wizard of Oz and Return to Oz, and then Wicked. I read Wicked.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
not like to play at all.
And then you did the Pink Floyd Dark Side of
right. Yeah. So I think that's interesting. And that was one of the things I liked about Wicked, which was telling this story that we knew in familiar territory. A new story in unfamiliar terms. I mean, it was great. Right. Wicked was a great book. I love that, and I think the Land of Oz is a rich tapestry that you could tell a lot of stories.
Everybody's familiar with it, but it's not remaking.
When they, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, it's very cool because Sam Raimi gets the visual. I think because the trailer starts much like the movies did. The trailer starts. It's in 4:3 aspect ratio.
Really.
And in black and white.
Right.
But I love how he did the effects of the smoke and the flames coming outside of the 4:3 aspect.
So that sort of tells, there's like the setup, and then when you see the balloon moving in, like sort of flying into Oz, then it expands to the 16:9, the CinemaScope ratios, and then it like fades into color.
That's cool.
It was very cool. It was a pretty impressive trailer. I liked it a lot. I have a lot of hope for it.
I do too. And just the costumes and the period, pieces in the environment is just beautiful. It's awesome. We'll play it after the show. I think it's going to be phenomenal. I think it's going to be better than the reboot that Sony's working on right now.
What?
The reboot of Jumanji.
Oh, why reboot that?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, because
I'm waiting for the reboot of Mrs. Doubtfire. I think that's going to be amazing.
Well, it's just the fact that Jumanji
was kind of a forgettable movie.
It was a forgettable movie, but if you wanted
I guess those are the best kind to redo.
Yeah.
But if you wanted to revisit, that's a whole world, a whole new world that you could bring into. You don't have to tell the story again. It's just weird. I mean, I guess I guess there's really no other way of telling the board game.
It is a kid's book. Yeah. I mean, so as a kid's book, was it one book or is it lots of them, like Oz?
I don't know.
Did you see a movie I actually happen to like is Zathura? It's the Jon Favreau movie. It's Jumanji in space.
Oh, really? Speaking of Jumanji in space,
which is another book too. I don't know if the same person wrote Jumanji and wrote Zathura, but they're two movies, and they're the same thing.
I didn't put this on the list, but speaking of space, Red Dwarf X trailer just released yesterday.
Really? I've never watched Red Dwarf, and everybody says it's great.
I mean, I wouldn't say great. I mean, it's great if you grew up watching it, and it just has that nostalgia feeling to it, but it is funny, and it has its moments.
Yeah.
So, new episode's coming, and it makes it 26 years that it's been on. So...
Very popular video store.
Yeah.
A lot of people rent Red Dwarf.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. It's pretty awesome.
I never got into it. Maybe I should.
Maybe.
I have to
Maybe not.
put it in my queue.
Yeah.
Well, if they do it right
like
and
the
put it
last
on like
Starfighter.
Netflix or something where you can watch it, it'd be worth it.
Yeah.
TV series, which I'm kind of excited about. They are working on the directors of Transformers and Star Trek are getting together and planning to develop a present-day TV series of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
I think that would be kind of cool. There's a couple TV shows that I like right now that are following these classic story arcs. Have you seen the show Revenge?
I haven't seen it. No.
It's pretty good.
I've heard it's good.
It's pretty good. You know what it is? It's the Count of Monte Cristo.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Really?
Except instead of a dude,
in
it's
the
a
Hamptons.
chick. Yeah. I mean, and it's very cool. Like, I really like it a lot. So it's, and I do like that it is a, we were just talking about like news stories and stuff. I like Revenge in that it is a familiar story in unfamiliar settings.
Yeah.
And you could do a lot with Sleepy Hollow. And the thing, and I tell you what Revenge does the best is the season 1 show, the very first 10 minutes of the season 1 show, they show you the end. Like you see what happens at the end, and then like it's all flashbacks. So now we're all building to that moment, and as you build, you realize the things that you saw in the first 10 minutes, which you thought gave it all away, aren't what you really thought they were. It's like it's different, or
it's almost like a Who Killed Laura Palmer.
A little bit, and it's a pretty good show. But I really like it because it is the Count of Monte Cristo, which is a great story.
I just
always wanted to read that book.
No, don't read Alexander Dumas.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Because it's massive.
It is big, and Alexander Dumas, like he's also it is Dumas, right? He wrote the.
Or is it Victor Hugo?
No. Count of Monte Cristo I think is Dumas.
Okay.
Oh, now I got to look it up.
It's a kick-ass movie though. The last one that came out
with Jim Caviezel, Jim Jesus Caviezel.
It's fantastic.
But Dumas was a plagiarist. Like he wrote the Three Musketeers too, and he plagiarized that from somebody. I don't know. Whatever. Revenge is a good show, and I hope that they take that cue and make it a familiar story in unfamiliar settings with an overarching arc. Which one of the things that I don't like about the
it's good for breakfast too. I haven't had a Monte Cristo in a while.
Yeah. That's
ham. I don't know if it rolls for you guys, but
that's that ham sandwich that's deep fried, right?
Deep fried,
Bennigan's.
No, it's not really. I guess it kind of is. It's almost like a ham sandwich, but it's like French toast, and then you slap on a shit ton of powdered sugar on it.
I used to eat it back in the day when I was a young.
I haven't had one of those.
Yeah, Monte Cristo is Alexander
Is it
Dumas.
Okay.
I just want what I want with all these TV series that are coming
I thought
out.
you were gonna say what you want.
What I really want.
What I really want.
The first time somebody told me about a Monte Cristo, I was with an ex.
I thought they were making it up.
I did too.
Yeah, I was like, why would you do that?
She was like, yeah, they take like a ham sandwich and then they deep fry it and batter it and get served with powdered sprinkles and raspberry jelly. And I was like,
raspberry jelly is totally what fucking made that shit. Yeah.
Oh, I've never had it with the raspberry jelly.
Oh my god!
Go have it.
But don't eat meat. But it's really, it's really good. But what I was going to say is what I really want is for the studios and the networks to get fucking their heads out of their ass and release their series on the web. Whether they do it by charging or whether they work it out with Netflix or Hulu. But it sucks that all these shows are coming out and they're barely trickling out to the web to watch. I'm
not sure I understand what you mean by that.
Well,
for people who don't want to pay for cable.
Because I watch stuff on Hulu all the time.
How late do you watch it?
What do you mean, how late?
Like, do you watch it when it actually airs, or do you?
Oh, it depends on the show.
That's
and
what I'm saying.
Every show is different.
That's what I'm saying.
So like, all right. So like, I watch The Office on Hulu, and I don't know. You watch them within a week or so of the air date.
No, but see.
And depending on the show, some things expire longer. Like the typical Hulu setup is it'll be a new show and it'll be available on Hulu and they post the 5 most recent episodes. And when they add one, the previous one drops off.
Yeah, that's fine. But
so you have 5 weeks to watch it.
But that's fine. That's great. But I'm talking about when the shit airs, it needs to be online when it airs because it's bullshit that if you choose not to have cable, that you have to listen to everybody else talk about it and wait a week before you can fucking watch it, or wait 4 days before you can watch it. They need to come up with a business plan that actually works for the viewer because that's who they're feeding this to.
Well, depending on the show, things are available.
But depending
right
on the
after
show
they
is
air,
the flaw of depending on
I agree.
is the flaw.
And that's that's, and I'll tell you what's going to happen is because the Hulu model is incredibly successful. They're doing really well, and that's just for free. So that's just the free viewers. They're not even talking about the premium viewers where people are paying $8 or $9 a month for the Hulu premium content. This is just the ad-supported stuff.
Yeah. I almost we thought about getting rid of cable, but they didn't have Mad Men, even on the Plus.
Well, because you know why? Nobody has Mad Men.
Yeah.
Because that's that's an AMC thing.
I missed the season
AMC
finale.
is
right, and they only played it again for the next 2 weeks at 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's a flawed business model. The customers
demand somebody else
their stuff to be online. They don't care.
I don't know if it's a flawed business model, but it's certainly a fragmented business model.
It's a flawed business model when the majority of your customers want their content in whatever format they want it in, whether it's on a computer, on their tablet, on their phone. And
nobody's going to do that. It's not going to be all things to all people.
That is not true. They will. I will put $150 on the table right now that in the next 3 years it will be that way. Right now. I mean, we're recording this.
I think, I think you're right, although I think 3 years might be soon. In fact, over time, it's become more fragmented. They haven't gotten their act together. You look at Netflix streaming. That Netflix streaming kind of ruined it for everybody. In that the way it works now is
ruined it for the post office.
Yeah. The way it works now is like if you want to go and see any Criterion movie, anything that's in the Criterion catalog, it's not available on Netflix because Criterion pulled all their stuff.
Warner Brothers did
Focus Features, they pulled all of their stuff from Netflix. I think Sony Classics, they pulled all of their stuff from Netflix. So now those distribution houses, now they need a home. So now they're going to the Hulus. They're going to what's the other one? It's not Stars. It's another one. It's like there's another free.
Yeah, I can't remember the name.
What the heck is it? Nah, it's like, I don't know, E-Films or some shit like that. I don't know. But there is another thing that's sort of very similar to Hulu that seems more geared toward movies. But so now, if you're a consumer and you want to watch you have a Netflix account, so you're paying for Netflix, you have what they offer. Now if you're like, oh, well, let's watch Seven Samurai, or let's watch, anything by Akira Kurosawa. Well, they're all on Criterion, so now we got to go to Hulu. So now I got to pay $8 a month for the Hulu subscription. And then let's say there's, I don't know, some other action movie that's not on Netflix, it's not on Hulu, it's on this third provider. So now you got to pay another membership
but
fee.
This is how World War I started.
I know. But what I'm saying is over the years, it's become more fragmented. It hasn't gotten together.
But it's not going to come together. What's going to happen is, and you can watch HBO Plus or whatever it's called. You can watch that. You can watch what?
Yeah, HBO has their own streaming service.
But you still have to have cable though.
No, you don't.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't. It's called HBO Go.
And you still have to have cable.
No, you don't. You can get it on the internet.
You have to have cable access to act. You can put it on your tablet. You can watch it, but you have to have an account to watch it. You have to be a subscriber to HBO to have it. You cannot just get it and be woohoo.
Yeah, I know a guy that gets it, but he uses his parents' account.
Yeah, you have to have an account,
and that's
unlawful to do that, but according to the terms of agreement.
Yeah.
But you have to have an account with HBO, which means you have to have a cable provider, which means you have to subscribe to. You still have to have the wire. You can't cut the wire to do it. What's going to happen with Criterion, what's going to happen with groups is, since everything is moving mobile and that's the direction it's going to be, distro houses are going to have their own app where you can watch their stuff. Or there's going to be something that's going to come up that's going to merge. But the way it's going to happen now is it's going to be app-based. There's going to be a lot of the Hulu Plus. AMC is in legal battles because of Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad... this last episode, the premiere of the new episode was like the biggest ever screen outside of the Super Bowl or whatever. And what they did is that they are in a legal battle with I forget which studio it is, and so Dish Network and Cable Access actually pulled it and said we're only going to show it because they used to have it streamed. They said we're only going to show it, to cable providers, and so there's like a chat room or something with it that you can be if you're a cable provider.
Yeah,
what
you
what
go
they
into
did.
AMC every damn time you go on there on their website, it's just like attention Dish Network customers, and
because they pulled it.
Yeah.
There's a legal battle. So what AMC did, and this is going to set a precedent. What AMC said was, "You're going to pull it? Fuck you." During the premiere of Breaking Bad, they went to the chat rooms and posted a link so you could. They were streaming the series or the episode. Maybe court will rule if that was unlawful and have to pay damages or not, but they own the rights to it, so they don't think they did anything.
Yeah, AMC does that where they'll show the first episode,
but they're both.
But you want to watch the rest, you have to subscribe.
Well, that's
to
what
their
they
channel.
did. That's what they did with The Walking Dead and stuff. But it's going to get to the. I mean, look what Disney's doing with Tron Legacy or Tron Uprising. The night that this last one aired, it was already on the website. I watched. I'm caught up all the way, and they put it on the website as it airs on. And that is what customers are demanding. I wish they had an app so I could watch it on my tablet and have a better ratio of it. It's still flawed, but the way they're doing business now is flawed, and it's not what the customers are demanding. There's more demands that customers are wanting to have their stuff either on their tablet, on their phone, on their computer, or on their TV. And with Apple TV, Google TV, with all these other boxes that are coming out, with all these little services that are coming out, they are either going to do what happened to the music industry, or they just need to pick up and jump on board and come on.
I wouldn't use the music industry as a model.
No, I'm saying they're going to fall.
I would use it as a model of what not to do.
Well, that's what.
Well, I mean, it doesn't.
That
really
is
matter.
what
it's the same thing. It's digital media.
That's what I just said.
There's really no difference.
That is what I said. Is like they can either do what happened with the music industry, or they can pick up the reins and innovate and come up with something that will help them.
Well, like I said, the historically, there's been very little innovation, and
that's not true.
And it's become more and more fragmented.
That is not true.
I'm such a pessimist.
There's so many court cases right now. There's so many things that are happening. There's so many companies out there trying to embrace the stuff that's going on. There's so many things that are happening.
So where's the innovation in the music industry? Where's that occurring? It's the same thing. If it's digital media, where's the innovation occurring?
But
in the
if you
music
listen to what
industry?
I said that was a bad choice for them. I didn't say there was innovation in it too.
All right. Well, they're the guys who went first, and they're still suffering because of it.
They're not suffering from it. It's a big myth that they were suffering. There was a study that just came out like maybe last year saying that during the time that the record industry and the media providers were screaming that they're losing all this money to piracy, record studies have shown that they've made more than what they claim to make, that they did not suffer, that they actually made record numbers of sales.
I've read studies saying the opposite,
even with the streaming thing, Discovery Channel is being innovative with it. Discovery Channel is putting all their stuff online and they said publicly in a press release just like 2 weeks ago, saying the reason they've done this, that their DVD sales, their Blu-ray sales of their disc has skyrocketed because people are watching it when they want to. It's on free on Netflix. You can watch everything they put out. And because it's there and people can access it, that their sales of their disc
Netflix isn't free.
But again, we're not talking about providing a free service. People will pay for a service.
Hulu is free.
No, because there's Hulu Pro.
And
Hulu
Free is free.
Yeah, but it's not free because you get advertisements. You get
still free. I'm not paying.
Okay, but the point of the argument is not to create a free system. It's to get the stuff that's out there to the people, and by hoarding it, like what Dish Network did with Breaking Bad, by pulling the program because they don't want the stuff streamed and making bad decisions, is not the way it should be done.
I agree with you. I'm just looking at it in a glass is half empty kind of manner, saying I see very little innovation, and I see
because you're not looking. I read about it, and I listen to several podcasts that deal with nothing but this. I mean, the innovation is there; it's happening.
Although I will
Channel.
step in and say, I take part in a podcast, and those guys are full of shit. So I wouldn't use that as your as an argument.
Well, the people the podcast that I do listen to have
they're
some kind of
knowledgeable.
background, and
And
they're credible, unlike
my opinion on
unlike the podcast that I don't know what
Right.
podcast you're talking about, whatever one that you take part in. But anyway, enough of that. $100, $150 on the table. You'll be wrong in 3 years. So, moving on.
I'm done. Are we done?
No, we're not done yet. We still got. I got the Walking Dead
Past
shirt,
9.
but we didn't start until 30 after.
Oh.
The Walking Dead is.
Are we
hitting-
done? Can I go?
Well, it doesn't matter. My
Well,
wife's got the
you're
I'm tired of watching Jason yell at Bob.
You're welcome to go. I mean, we still got a show. I mean, so The Walking Dead is actually going to be part of Halloween Horror Nights in Universal Studios and Universal.
That just makes me want to go.
Yeah.
Have you guys been to Universal Studios?
I have.
Never been.
I have.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking cool,
Yeah.
especially if you're a comic book nerd.
I've
The
ridden
Spider-Man ride is one of the best rides ever.
because it's in 3D.
It is in 3D.
Yeah.
It's an effective 3D too.
It's pretty good. So that's there. I want to talk about Mockingbird Lane, which is the TV series, modern day.
The address is 1313 Mockingbird
yes.
Lane.
And this is the monsters, the story of the monsters, and it's really interesting because the director said pretty much he goes the approach that he's taking is he's taking the show with a darker approach to it. He said, quote, they eat people and they have to live with the ramifications of being monsters. It's like really grounded in reality because of the half-hour sitcom. We saw monsters. They were monsters on the outside, but they weren't monsters on the insides. But in this, he's going to say that they are monsters on this. They eat people, they kill people, and they're going to have the kind of the tongue-in-cheek aspect of it. It's like, have the metaphor like Herman Munster's in a constant state of decay, and he's married to someone who doesn't age. So he said they're going to play with those insecurities with the relationship. But he also says that he mentions that there's going to be appearances from like the creature from the Black Lagoon, and Phantom of the Opera. So he's kind of working with Universal Studios to get this.
I think it's interesting that Jerry O'Connell is playing Herman Munster.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting.
The last gasp of Jerry O'Connell's career.
What are you talking about, man?
We're hearing the death knells.
Jerry O'Connell could go and host Live with Kelly. He's the main guest host.
Yeah.
But Eddie Izzard's also in the film.
Yeah. I mean, that guy is like always on morning TV hosting stuff. It might be his last show, but I mean, as a talk host goes, he's actually one of the best I've seen. Yeah. Not that I stay home that often to watch this show, but Regis Philbin is gone, so.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And
Poor old Uncle Reg.
Wasn't he Piranha 3D?
Yeah.
He got his
First
penis
one,
bit
yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Nice.
They did a video to
Montage of
for
his-
the Academy for consideration for Oscar nomination when Piranha 3D came out, and he hosted. And what does he say? Like, "Hi friends, this is National Treasure, Jerry O'Connell." Which I just thought was hilarious.
Yeah.
National treasure.
It is pretty good. So what do you think about Mockingbird Lane?
Like anything else, I want it to be good.
I mean, I'm down for it.
afraid that it won't be.
The original Monsters isn't that sacred. I mean, it was a shit TV show.
It's not, but
I wouldn't say it was a shit TV.
I've been watching it the last couple weeks. It's not that good. It's
But
no Addams Family. Let me
I don't
tell
know.
you,
It just seems like Hollywood wants to take these ideas and then like sort of reinvent them or like turn them on their head, right?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's Dark Shadows. Let's not make it serious. It's funny now.
Right, let's make the
And
funny
now
one serious.
Monsters. Oh, it was funny. Now we're gonna make it serious. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's
It does sound.
It's all
It's
going to hell in a handbasket, Bob.
representative of the creative bankruptcy of Hollywood. They've got nowhere else to turn except comic books.
And putting their shit online.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that wraps up our show. Because Paul's ready to go.
I got nowhere to go.
See, I got comic book stuff I want to talk about. You guys out of the loop.
Not
Damn
out
it.
of the loop.
Anybody read the new Watchmen comic books? Before Watchmen?
I haven't
Minutemen.
even seen Watchmen.
Comedian, Rorschach, Ozymandias, Night Owl? Anybody? Ah, damn it.
No.
Darwin Cook? Anybody?
I have some oatmeal.
Yeah. See? Too bad.
I
Too
built
bad.
a new synth patch using my new analog machine.
You
Was there
bring your
soldering
didgeridoo.
involved?
Huh?
Right.
Was there what?
Was there soldering involved?
Why are you
No,
talking-
but there will be. You know how to solder, don't you?
I do.
You do. You're the man I need. The thing I bought
and why
has
these two
rotary
make
encoders instead
out
of pan
and
pods,
talk
and they're
about
sending digital
soldering.
signals.
I'm going to wrap out
So I've got to get a new
and wrap up the show. I want to thank you for watching, hanging out with us. I think the Google Plus, we had no technical issues. It was really good. So we're going to start doing that every broadcast. So
That
check
is
out
a threat, not a promise.
That is definitely a threat. So check out Zombie Popcorn. We have event screening tickets coming up. We just gave out event screening tickets to The Dark Knight Rises. We have 2 more lined up. Actually, I have 3 more lined up. So keep an eye on the website. Join us on the newsletter. Send us emails. Call us. Let us know if you have any thoughts. Want us to talk about anything. And we'll do it. So have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Yay!